We got to camp, and then 5 days later, we got an email that said, please come pick up your campers, that there have been some positive cases and they were ending the term early.
When the Kanakuk camps, a prominent network of Christian sports camps, opened 5 of their locations this summer, parents initially felt comforted that the camp provided enough materials and safety protocols to keep their children safe amid the COVID-19 pandemic. One parent, Karen Sharp-Herbst of Allen, Texas, told me she felt comfortable sending her daughter, but then her daughter was sent home amid a COVID outbreak at the K2 camp. Parents were notified by mass email that the camp would be shutting down after initially 2 confirmed cases of counselors came through. In the subsequent days, that number jumped to 82 confirmed cases of both counselors and campers.
They're trying to follow the protocol that is set for us by the state and the government, trying to help our kids be, as normal as possible. It is just proving to not be a normal time. And I think we just need to reassess what's going on.
With rules on gathering differing from state to state and some sleepaway camps still operating, the American Camp Association provided a field guide, and the CDC offered suggestions for safer youth camp operations. While children have been largely but not entirely spared from the worst known effects of coronavirus, there is conflicting evidence about how likely children are to spread the virus to adults. The plan to open or close overnight camps this summer was a wrenching one, for families and camps alike. A recent American Psychological Association survey found that 60% of parents have no idea how to keep kids engaged this summer. Public health experts told NBC News they have serious concerns over the safety of camps for kids and adults alike, which contribute to lingering questions about what this means for reopening schools in the fall. Like other sleepaway camps around the country still open this summer, Kanakuk had recommended pre-camp quarantine, a form of social distancing on site, enhanced sanitation practices, daily temperature checks, and custom face coverings provided for campers. But it's impossible to plan for a cluster. Other camps opening and then shuttering after positive cases have emerged, with camps in at least 8 states across the U.S. experiencing COVID outbreaks.
There has not been any communication from the camps since we picked our kids up.
The Missouri Health Department tells NBC News that it's not planning to shut down any of the Kanakuk camps permanently for the summer, and local health departments in Stone County and Taney County continue to work with the Kanakuk and monitor the situation. NBC News reached out to Kanakuk multiple times, and they have yet to comment publicly on any of the outbreaks.
It's been a hard time. It has, because like I stated before, the one thing my child looks forward to is summer camp. If I were one of the later terms, because we were term 3, if I was this upcoming term, I would not be allowing my daughter to go this term. Just seeing and knowing what I know now, if we were a later term, she would be very sad because she would not be going.
For moms, work-life balance is already a high-wire trick. Now, in a pandemic, so many mothers say any semblance of that is out the window.
It's difficult with the kids because I have to be a teacher. Make sure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Christine Keith is the president of Elite Automotive Network in Los Angeles. She manages 7 employees while juggling her 2 kids and her elderly father.
I set aside a time where I have to stop and spend time with my kids because I could literally work from 6 to 9 o'clock at night nonstop.
While her husband helps with the kids as they both work from home, the kids come to mom first when they need something.
If they need help, they come to me. It's just the way my household is set up.
With many schools nationwide announcing they're going entirely virtual this fall, the disruption for millions of working parents, especially moms, is only going to become more impossible.
Poorly. That's how they're faring, is poorly.
Federal data shows women are leaving the workforce faster than men in this pandemic. In March, the number of women working or looking for work dropped by more than 2%. Leaving, taking a break, or even adjusting your hours can be devastating for a woman's earning power.
For a lot of women, they will eventually re-enter the workplace. If they leave, most women will. But many of them will never reach the levels in their careers that they otherwise would have reached if they had not left the workplace in the first place.
Law professor Joan Williams at the University of California, Hastings says motherhood is the strongest trigger for gender bias.
Mothers in traditionally male careers who leave the workforce for a chunk of time, very, very often they never return to those traditionally male and high-paying careers.
The pandemic's negative impact on single mothers and mothers of color is even worse.
There's disproportionate number of non-white women who are single moms, and especially African-American women.
Another problematic piece of the puzzle, outdated, inflexible expectations of men at work.
Men are under really strong gender pressures to be an ideal worker. It's not to do with women. It's with how little gender roles and expectations have changed for men.
What does this all mean for a mom's long-term earning potential? How much money is left on the table?
A lot. Lifetime reduction in income from taking a chunk of time off can be 20% of your lifetime income. It's huge.
So what's your advice to moms who are in this situation, balancing both the childcare, the brunt of the home stuff, plus their career?
It's really important, although it's so difficult when we're all feeling so embattled, to fight those battles, to split things up more equally. And it's something that you're doing not out of your own narcissism, it's to ensure your children's economic future.
That's right, Savannah. Schools like this, Edsel Ford High School in Dearborn, in desperate need of a cash infusion because of the coronavirus pandemic. This rule, which was issued by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, accomplishes the exact opposite of that. It would transfer millions of dollars from public schools into private schools at a time when these public schools are already facing severe budget deficits. So Michigan, which is a state that has already struggled so much with public underfunding of public schools, is leading this lawsuit charge. And just this week, a number of states, including Hawaii and Pennsylvania, joining in on that charge, knowing that they risk losing millions and millions of dollars for the new school year just weeks before they are set to reopen their doors. I spoke earlier today with the Attorney General of Michigan, who is spearheading this effort, Dana Nessel, and here's what she had to say about what's at stake in Michigan and in many other school districts around the country.
Personally, I think it's important to note that this policy contradicts the clear language of the CARES Act. So we feel pretty confident that we're actually going to be successful in this effort. But, it's just another, it's the death rattle of public schools in this nation. And I mean, we've heard this time again, not just from Secretary DeVos, but very plainly, the president has spoken about this. He doesn't believe in the public school system. He thinks education is just something for the rich and elite and privileged. And really, that is in contravention to everything that we've come to know about the United States of America, where all individuals are supposed to have an opportunity.
And this is coming at a time, Savannah, when many of these schools are being told that they must open their doors or else they will lose funding. This is the position of the Trump administration. At the same time, they're getting very little guidance from the administration about what kind of health precautions they should take, about whether they should even be following the CDC guidelines, quite frankly. So I spoke with the superintendent here of Dearborn Schools, and he broke it down. This school district, which has about an $8 million budget from the federal government, would lose about $1 million of that. He told me he's already gotten requests from private schools saying, send us the money. That's going to have a big impact on school systems like this, where 60 to 70% of the students have a free lunch program, free or reduced lunch program, meaning that they are somewhere near the poverty line. That is a big chunk out of the budget. It's the same story in Detroit, for instance, in Grand Rapids, for instance, looking at upwards of $2 million in losses. So Michigan spearheading this effort. They're looking for a preliminary injunction to try and stop this rule from taking effect, Savannah. But if it doesn't, they say that there's going to be a real problem when these schools reopen their doors and they don't have all of the necessary funding to take the safety precautions to keep their students safe amid this pandemic. Savannah, back to you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.